anyway, I tell you guys a story time on why I was adopted. For starters, I've always known that I was adopted. My parents never tried to hide that from me. Not that they could because they're Hispanic, so I probably would have figured something out. But yeah, I've always known that I was adopted. So I've never felt like weird about it or different or anything. I know that some people do because they aren't told about it, but I don't mind talking about it because I don't give a fuck. So I was adopted when I was like, I think 9 months old, between 6 and 9 months old. So I was a little baby, and basically I was living in this like motel, like a super like sketchy area, like a really bad motel, I guess. And some lady heard a baby crying in this motel, and she called the cops because she was like, this is no place to have a baby. So the cops show up to my biological parents' motel room, and they find me laying on the floor, like on a mattress, just a mattress on the floor, and underneath the mattress was a and like a ton of, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on here, but, and so obviously they were like, yo, we're taking this baby. And they also found out that like they used to use me like to beg on the side of the road and have me there and be like, oh, we need money for diapers, but then they would go and buy. So that's cool. Oh, and another fun fact, I was born with in my system, so that's cool. Okay, so they find me, and then they're like, yo, we're taking this baby. So they take me, and then my adoptive parents, they were like signed up to be foster parents, I guess. And so they get a call one day, and they're like, yo, you still want a baby? And my mom was like, oh my god, of course. And they're like, cool, bring it by later today. And my mom was like, because she has nothing for a baby, like they were not prepared. So she said she had to go out to Target that day and had to buy everything, like crib, diaper, like all of it all at once. I was like, that is crazy, because most people have like 9 months to prepare, and you found out same day. I could not do that, so more power to them, because that's crazy. So they bring me to my parents' house, my now parents' house, and my dad said that like I was so malnourished, that like I was so like skinny and like way smaller than I was supposed to be, but I had like a giant head. And apparently that happens like to babies that are malnourished. They get like a really big head. I don't know. I feel like my head is normal size now. But so they take me to my parents' house and whatever, and then the whole process starts. They have to go to court, da 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 da. My biological mom did not want custody of me. Girlfriend did not care. My biological dad tried to get custody of me, but they were like, sir, you're going to prison. How are you gonna have a baby? And he was like, oh, I'll just send her to my brother in like West Virginia. And they were like, when was the last time you talked to your brother? And he was like 6 years ago or something crazy. And they were like, no. And my biological grandma also tried to fight for custody, and they said no, but I don't remember why. But anyways, so it was like a pretty easy adoption. Like, I was like officially adopted when I was like 5. I don't know, it just takes time, but like I stayed with them the entire time. I know that some adoptions are harder. Like my sister, she was adopted from a separate family. We're not biologically related, but I know that hers took a really long time because like her biological grandma was fighting for custody or something, and they did like visits and stuff, and like that took a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of everything. But mine, nobody gave a fuck about me. I had like, for the first little bit, I had supervised visits with my biological mom, but we always showed up and she never showed up, not till 1. So I don't remember what they went to prison for. Probably some of it was, and I think I saw that my biological mom had a couple counts of child abuse. I think one was like robbery for my dad. I don't remember, but I can probably find it again. But yeah, when I turned 18, I was allowed to find out their names, because I wasn't allowed to know before them. So I just looked them up on Facebook. It took me like 4 seconds to find them, which was kind of crazy. I found out I have a sister and a brother, but I think they're both half siblings. I think same mom, different dad. But yeah, my parents tried to adopt my biological sister too, because she was also born in her system. But I don't know how my biological mom was able to keep her, but she was. So yeah, but I couldn't find my biological dad on Facebook because he's still in jail. But I found his like mugshot and everything. But yeah, I found them all on Facebook and stuff. But I never reached out to any of them because I like have nothing to say to them. Like these are just strangers to me. Like I don't give a fuck. But anyways, super grateful to have been adopted. My parents are the absolute best. They gave me everything, and now I get to know 2 languages too, which is like super cool. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything. Like I said, this is just normal to me. I'm just like, this is what happened. But every time I tell somebody, they're like, so yeah, I just felt like sharing that. I did not get ready at all. I just talked. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's the story. Bye.
Tell you about the time that I fell in love with my stalker. I have to split this up into separate parts. Depends on how long it gets. Let me set the scene for you. This happened like 12 to 14 years ago, so my timeline might be a little off. I was probably like a junior-ish in high school, and I had this boyfriend who I thought was for sure the love of my life. We had been dating for a little while, best friends for a really long time. I'm pretty sure everybody knew that I was in a relationship with this guy. We were very open about it. We're like on Twitter, back when it was Twitter. I'm sure you guys know what like subtweeting is. There was this other guy who would constantly subtweet me. And here's the thing, I didn't know if he was subtweeting me exactly, but he would even say stuff alluding to the fact that like he would see me. Back in the day, it would be like hashtag OOMF, like oomph, which is also like one of my followers. He'd be like hashtag oomph, looks so good in her blue pants today. Wearing the heck out of some colored skinnies, okay? And I'd be like, I wore blue skinny jeans today. And it'd be like little things like that. Like, can't wait to see oomph at the football game later. And I'd be like, It's kind of weird that this guy's like talking about me or to me, but not directly to me. And I was like, am I being paranoid about this? Time goes on and me and said boyfriend ends up breaking up. It's fine. The guy who I thought was like subtweeting me becomes even more descriptive in his tweets. And so I'm starting to really catch on and like, okay, this guy's talking to me. He's talking about me. So one day I am at my high school football game and this guy shows up. We kind of start chatting a little bit, like us in a group of friends talking, and I'm like kind of trying to pick this guy's brain a little bit. What are you doing? Like, what's going on here? Well, after the football game, he's like, let me walk you to your car. Hindsight, I was young, 16, maybe 17 years old. I should have been like, no, I'm good. So I let him walk me to my car, like opening the door for me and stuff. And he's like, just so you know, I'm not going to leave you alone. You're going to marry me someday. Okay, like kind of creepy, kind of endearing, whatever. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm going to put up a part 2 very quickly. 2 about how I accidentally fell in love with my stalker. If you missed part 1, please go watch it. You know me back in the day, and even now, I was like voted most friendly in high school. I'm never going to tell anybody like kick rocks and flip flops. Like that's just not my demeanor. That's not how I am. So I was kind of like, okay, haha. Little things would happen, like I would get out of school and there would be like presents left in my car, and I'm like, who got into my car and who left these presents? And then lo and behold, I would see on Twitter, I hope Oomph liked her gifts today. And so I would know like, okay, this guy's like leaving me gifts in my car. He knows where I'm parking and like which vehicle is mine. So there's another guy from our school who I was kind of interested in. And I roll up to the movies and I'm standing in line to get our little movie ticket. I'm like super excited. All of a sudden, out of my peripheral, I see a stalker just beelining towards us. Surely he's here with somebody else. Surely he's here to see another movie. Incorrect. To tell the guy I'm on a date with, like, hey, sorry, like, I don't really know what's going on here. Surely to God, he's not gonna follow us into the movie. That's where I'm wrong. He got a ticket. He follows us into the movie and sits right between me and my date. Holds our large popcorn. He shares our large drink with us. Thank God. We all have a good sense of humor. We just kind of giggled about it. He more or less shook my stalker's hand and was like, good luck to you, buddy. Again, I don't have a chance with anyone else as long as this guy is constantly and consistently showing up. At my car, on my dates, at my school. I cannot get away from him. He's trolling my social media. He's messaging me. He's subtweeting me. He's tweeting about me. This is also back when like Woman Crush Wednesday was a thing. He's like posting me as his Woman Crush Wednesday. Even like before we have any photos together. Last year or so, this guy has steadily been letting away every guy that has been interested in me, any of my ex-boyfriends who like want to try to make things work, new dates that I try to go on, he either shows up, basically telling all of these guys like, hey, you're messing with my girl, which makes me look like a cheater and a liar because I'm like, I'm not dating him. I'm like, dude, you have got to stop texting me. Stop texting me, stop calling me beautiful, stop telling people we're in a relationship, stop bringing me breakfast. You need to leave me alone. Just like inserting himself into my life. I agree. Fine, I will go on a date with you. I will give you what you want if you will just let me live. We go on our little date to the movies. After the movie, we kind of start talking and I'm like, I kind of like him. Continue to text, go on another date. And another day, and then I think I kind of realized like, hey, he is persistent, he obviously cares about me. He started telling me that like he was in love with me on the second date, but I kind of loved it. I kind of ate it up. And as time goes on, I find myself like slowly but surely falling in love with this guy who has been stalking me for like a year now. For his junior year, we made it through like our little summer fling, doubles up his senior year and graduates school early, and we go on like this big vacation, and this boy at 17 years old proposes to me. I said yes. 17 years old, engaged. I know what you're thinking. Why did you do that? What were your parents thinking? But I'm happy to report that we are almost 10 years married now. We've been together for almost 13 years, We have 2 children together, and I am still incredibly in love with my little stalker.
Ready with me, but I'm going to tell you guys every single reason why I unfriended my ex-best friend of 10 years. We'll start off with the big ones. I caught her sleeping with my boyfriend. Number 2, anytime I told her I liked a guy, guess what she'd be doing? Snapping them the next day. Or even worse, she'd go and hang out with them. And then she would plan 2-mans, and I'd tell her which guy I liked, and guess who she'd get with and leave me with? The other guy that I didn't like. She'd get with the guy I liked. Took a video of me changing one time and sent it to my boyfriend at the time. Told one of my boyfriends at the time that I was gay, tried to kiss her and her. One time me, her, and another girl were all hanging out, and she followed me into the bathroom without me knowing and took a video of me showering like underneath my shower curtain. So you thought when she took a picture of me changing and sent it to my boyfriend at the time was bad? No, she leaked this around the whole school and blamed it on the other girl. The other girl literally ended up getting charges pressed on her because my parents pressed them, and she got in so much trouble for it, and it wasn't even her. And don't worry guys, once we found out that it actually wasn't her, the charges weren't like completely gone through yet, so my parents went straight to the courthouse and dropped the charges. Oh my god, I cannot speak. There was multiple occasions that she did this to me. We would go and take Instagram pictures and she would edit my body to look bigger than it actually was. Any single time I'd hang out with her and have money in my wallet, every single time the money would decrease and it would just go missing. Same thing with my clothes, same thing with my makeup, same things with my perfumes, hair products, literally everything. One time this girl literally put Nair in my shampoo, and luckily I caught her in the act. She was flabbergasted when I caught her. Like, she didn't even know what to say. Like, she literally called her mom and went home. Literally set me up to get jumped, brought me somewhere, and got me jumped. One time we were going to hang out with these guys, and I asked her if I could use some of her perfume, and she filled up a little perfume thing of fart spray. And obviously it smelled so bad, like she literally was gagging from it. And that was the only pair of clothes I brung because we were literally just going to hang out with guys and I was going home. She refused to let me change clothes, refused to let me wear any of her clothes, and I had to go with fart spray on me. I literally called my mom to come get me. I was fucking done. She told me that my fish was dead and flushed it in front of my face while it was literally still swimming. You're probably thinking like, oh, when she was doing all these crazy things, like, why didn't you stop being her friend a while ago? Oh, I tried. Every single time I tried, she threatened me. And the reason how and why we are no longer friends is because my parents literally had to get a restraining order on her so she'd leave me alone. Okay, bye guys.
I'm gonna tell you a story about what my tweaker ex did to me when he broke up with me. This is still by far the craziest thing that a guy has ever done to me. When I broke up with them, I break up with them. I'm always the one that breaks up with them. But this is what happened. All right, he was a tweaker, living with his father in his apartment, but you know, that was kind of bad. So he was kind of homeless, but I kind of like didn't like him anymore. So I brought him into my room and I said, hey, so sorry, but you gotta go. And at the end of this, he was very upset, and he stole a necklace that my ex made me that I loved. He stole that and he gave it back to me on my doorstep, crushed, without the opal in it. It was like a pine cone necklace with the opal in it. He left it there, but this, after I was like, you gotta go, he was like, I'm gonna be homeless, I have nowhere to go, I guess I'll like ride the bus to Portland, but I don't have a hoodie, I'm gonna be cold when I'm laying on a park bench all night alone in Portland. So do you think you can like give me a hoodie? I was like, brother, I'm breaking up with you and you need a hoodie from me so you won't freeze when you go sleep on a park bench in Portland alone? Girl, if that wasn't a sign enough. Yeah, so he goes through my closet. I'm like, you can have that one. He says, no, I want this one. Funniest joke ever. He still doesn't know. The sweatshirt he was holding up was actually a Budweiser sweatshirt that me and my ex had matching. Like, me and my ex had a matching hoodie, and it was a Budweiser one. And he took that one. He took that one. And I was like, damn, you know, I really like that hoodie. That sucks, but I gotta let him take it, because that's just fucking hilarious that he doesn't know that. But, to top it all off, I go into my phone, go to, like, play some SoundCloud music. It's gone. It's gone. He unliked every single one of my SoundCloud songs. Unliked every single song, took down my reposts, unfollowed the artists I was following. Like, I woke up to a bear account, and he changed my name to, like, I'm a tweaker, like, some weird shit like that. Like, I love bad things, like, just he named me something, I don't know what, he probably called me a tweaker. He was like, I'm a tweaker, whatever, like, put that in my bio, and changed the picture to something weird. That wasn't all. He goes into my Instagram account, and I catch him doing this. He is actively deleting photos while I am in my TikTok. While I'm in my Instagram, I'm looking at my Instagram account, bro. And I'm seeing the pictures disappear every single time I refresh. And I'm like, oh shit, he's doing this right now. So he got like half of my Instagram pics deleted. Half of my pics deleted. He changed my bio. He changed my profile picture. I logged him out, did that. And then I'm like, okay, that was stressful. I'm gonna go unwind on my TikTok. No, you're not. No, you're not. 'Cause I go onto my TikTok. What is it? Gray profile picture. No bio. Every single person was unfollowed. And every single video was gone. He went through my TikTok and deleted every single video I posted. Every single video. Gone. Ones that went viral. Gone. Everything gone. He got my TikTok, my Instagram, and my fucking sound. Who the fuck goes on someone's SoundCloud and unlikes their songs, bro? You tell me that, because have you ever thought of doing that when you have broken up with someone? Have you ever? Because I'm crazy, girl. I'm crazy, you know? Like, I can hunt someone down. I will go crazy, but I wasn't that crazy to think of going on their SoundCloud and unliking their songs. Because what? And the pine cone. He broke my pine. I get it. It was my ex. You didn't like him. I broke up with you because I wanted to get back together with my ex. You thought I played you for my ex, and I did. I did play him. It was fucked up. It was 2 months, and I said I love you. I mean, dude, 2 months, and I'm the one that got you to meet your baby overnight. For the first time, this man had a 1-year-old child with a literal tweaker. Actually does meth. Her family does it. They're like, whatever, and he had never spent a night alone with his 1-year-old daughter. Not a single damn night! Not a single fucking night, bro. And I was like, oh my god, you're dating someone with an apartment and you've never seen your kid overnight. She's 1 year old. I was like, invite her over. What the fuck? What the fuck? So, he did. He brought her 1-year-old. We got the baby. I got him to spend the night with his daughter for the first time. On a side note, do you want to know what the tweaker mom brought with her baby? She bought 1-year-old. She brought Cheeto Puff Balls. Cheeto Puff Balls. And I was like, oh, 1-year-old, you know, like, don't they need milk? Don't they need milk? She didn't bring any, like, formula or breast milk or anything. So I was like, can you ask her, like, what the hell we feed this baby? I don't know anything. I'm like 17. And she's like, oh, you know, I don't feed my baby milk. I just give her, like, 3% milk. And I'm 17, and I'm like, okay, hold on. I know you're not supposed to feed babies 3% milk at 1-year-old. Like, I was like, formula, breast milk, I don't know, something. Are you supposed to feed 1-year-old babies 3% milk? Can you tell me that? So I can stop wondering if you're not supposed to do that, because I'm pretty sure you're not. Goat's milk, maybe. Goat's milk, you're good, but...
Hey guys, get ready with me while I update y'all on my life, because I got a few questions if I'm still with my boyfriend. I'm getting ready for work, but I woke up this morning unpinned. So we're making a video about it because I'm pissed off, like, severely. I just washed my hair yesterday and it dried like this. Oh my god, where do I even start? So basically, we were doing so good, like, so good. We hung out, it was like 4 days in a row, and then we didn't hang out for 2 days. Then we hung out again, and it was a Friday. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, maybe. So that's the last time we hung out, and it, like, was obviously so fun, and, like, nothing was weird about it. Like, it was fine. And then literally the next morning he starts acting weird, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck did I do? I'm, like, scared that I did something or said something, and I'm obviously overthinking it. And bro, that just, like, made my hair wet. Are we joking? He's being so dry, not sending his face. I was like, why aren't you sending your face? And then I think I asked to hang out, and he said he, like, couldn't, or he said he'd see after golf, and he never let me know after golf. He started not snapping me, and he'd be active. I'm like, why aren't you snapping? Like, it would be for like 5 hours. It wasn't just like 30 minutes. So I'd be like, why aren't you snapping me? Like, I don't understand what I did. And he'd be like, you didn't do anything. Like, nothing's wrong. Oh, he said his phone broke. Like, this really made me mad. He said his phone broke, and he doesn't have, like, Wi-Fi or, like, data or something until he's at a place with Wi-Fi. So I'm, like, looking at his location, I'm like, bitch, you're out to eat. Obviously, there's probably Wi-Fi there. So I'm like, that's just a bullshit excuse. So I was literally just like, oh. And, like, it was weird, and he still didn't snap me after that. So it was weird. Like, this man just isn't who he said he was. And I hate to say that because I made the video and I was like, he's not gonna be like Jessica. Like, I have the worst luck, and y'all don't even realize it. Like, I think this is the 4th in the row guy. Like, I have a fucking streak of guys who have done me dirty. So after he starts acting up, he completely ghosts me. Like, does not talk to me. I'm not talking like an hour. I'm talking like a day. Like, a day. His snap score is going up. Then he turned off his location. That's when I went fucking livid. I'm blowing up his phone. I'm calling him. I'm just like, literally, what the hell did I do? Like, I don't understand. So after I blow up his phone, he tells me he's going through something right now. And I'm like, bitch, that's what every guy fucking says. Like, that's what they always say just to get away from you. So I'm just, like, hating myself and, like, going through it because I'm like, it's me. Like, I'm ugly. It's me. So I'm like, there's another girl. So I'm overthinking all of it, and I don't appreciate how he's putting me through all this when it could have not been like this, because it's like, how come he can snap other girls but he can't snap me? How come his snap score goes up 350 literally, not, like, really quick? And like, it's just pissing me off. And then he fucking asked my friend she had like a birthday party, and I brought him, and she was like the host. He asked her, and she texted me about it, and I'm like, what? So I texted him after being on delivery for like 2 days. I'm like, why did you add my friend? And he was like, oh, I thought it was another, like, her name. And I was like, so obviously you're adding girls. So I went to my fucking quick ad. I added everybody back because I'm like, no. So then I was like, well, do you just, like, want to go on a break? Like, I don't understand, like, until you get better. And he was like, yeah, I'm just not in the right headspace to treat you right. And I was like, why are you like every other guy? So, like, and literally the day we hung out before all this happened, he was like, I see us lasting for so long, like especially in the summer, we're gonna have so much fun because you have a pool, I have a pool, he has a boat, like, it would just be fun, we can hang out every day, like, I see us lasting forever. And I'm like, I completely got lied to. Like, I have been so emo about it because it's like, I swear that made my face pink. Like, I'm so upset that this is my life. Sorry, it kind of took me a lot to get to the fun part. So there's this girl that I, like, kind of talk to that goes to his school, and I was like, hey, what do you know about, let's call him Truck, because he has a cool truck, and that's, like, his whole personality. So I was like, what do you know about Truck? And she was like, oh my gosh, stay away from him. And I'm like, what? So we're dating, what do you mean? And she was like, you don't want to mess around with him, Sophia. Like, he has the worst reputation at their school. He can't date a girl at our school because every time he ghosts them. And I was like, what do you mean by ghosting? Because I'm getting ghosted right now. And she was like, he'll hang out with a girl and act like they're gonna last and act like it's on a hook up with them, and then ghost them. And I'm like, and I was like the next day or like a bit? And she was like, no, literally the next day. Like, apparently he told her that he's deleting Snapchat and then blocked her. And I was like, oh, so he's a dick. Okay, this is gonna be kind of annoying, but my face is so puffy. So I was like, no, he literally told me he's going through something, blah blah. He ended up telling me the reason, which is actually valid, but I'm like, I don't really know. Like, half of me is thinking we're gonna get back together, but then I'm like, do I even want to after everything I'm getting told? Like, I texted him and I was like, I'm getting told stuff that you should probably know. Like, and of course he hasn't replied. I'm like, at least half swipe me. like, half swipe me and see what I'm saying. No, he won't half swipe me. So she's telling me to stay away. She said every girl from their school can back me up on this, that he's a horrible guy and is known for ghosting girls and leading them on. So I'm like bawling because I'm like, I cannot believe I fell for his trick. And I'm obviously still texting him, and I think I'm on deliver. Let me go look. I'm on deliver since Saturday, and then I texted him again this morning. I was like, oh, so you unpinned me. Because I'm like 6th on his best friends list, and he's 2nd on mine when I unpinned him. So obviously he's snapping other hoes. And for reference, my whole best friends list is girls other than him. Still. So I was angry. There was a point I was not going on Snapchat snapping nobody. So I finally was like, wake the fuck up. And what is my dog doing? What are you doing? And I added back everybody. I like started snapping guys, like, because I was like, you're not gonna make me a nobody. Like, you're not gonna make me snap nobody just when we're on a break, even though I think this is just a breakup. And, like, we hardly fucking lasted. It was like 3 weeks. How embarrassing. So that is my update. I will let y'all know if he ever replies, but that's all I have to say for now. Pray for me that he comes back. My whole For You page is like, he's the one. Don't, like, wait on him. I'm just doing a pearl. Like, he's the one, wait on him, manifest this. And I'm like, do I need to, like, be a manifest girl now? Like, do I need to manifest for this man? Like, is he the one? Because I've, like, never felt this way before. Actually, yes, I have, but not in a little bit. So that's the update y'all have been waiting for. Okay, I'm all ready for work, but on the bright side, I've lost a lot of weight and I'm going to the beach this week. So a win's a win, because every time I eat, I think about it and literally get sick to my stomach and feel like I'm gonna puke. So a win's a win.
Story time on the time that me and my sister got caught sneaking in a guy. It's gonna be another real hoot holler true banger if you fucking will. And this dude has been in my past stories. We call him YB, why born from fucking Coraline. Okay, so we get into it. Okay, so my sister was like fucking around with this dude, and so we planned that we were gonna like sneak him in. And okay, I have cameras, door alarms, the whole shebang. Okay, now this is gonna sound pretty tragic, but so we had planned that with him, and that we planned that we were gonna sneak him in through my garage. We were gonna open my garage like a little bit and then let him in, okay? But we were just gonna pray they didn't check the cameras, because there's one, the dining room, it would face the stairs, and we would have to go up the stairs to get to my room. So we texted him, like, we planned the whole thing already, right? And so my sister had screen time at the time, so we had to both wait, and we just prayed that he still kept, like, that he can. And we were sitting at, like, the top of my stairs, and there's a big window in front of my house. So we were just waiting to see him there. And then we're waiting there for, like, a good 30 minutes, and then suddenly we see him go past the street. And we're like, okay, plan is in action. Me and my sister go downstairs, and then we go to the garage. You know that garage doors are fucking loud as fuck. Okay, so we just like press the thing to open it, and like it just opened real quick. So we get him into the garage, okay? And so then my sister had brought a blanket, and our plan was to wrap him like with someone like around the fucking blanket. I'm gonna show y'all. So she had the blanket like this, and he was like right like trailing, bending over, like having like, you know what I mean? I don't know how we thought that was gonna change anything, so I don't really. So yeah, we make it up to my room, okay? And so nothing really happens, and we're just like hanging out in my room talking, like that kind of thing. And we're like in my room for like a good like 30 minutes, maybe not even, I don't remember. And so I thought that I started hearing like some movement like around like downstairs, because my room is right above my parents' room. So I was like, okay, we gotta be careful. He goes in like, tell him to hide in the closet. He goes and hides in the closet for like a little bit, and then we thought we were good, okay? But I guess not. So basically, I was sitting on my bed right there, and he was over there, and my sister was like on my bed right over there, okay? We have the door locked too, right? Okay. I thought I started hearing movement like coming towards my room. I was like, oh hell no. I hear my parents knock and try to come in. And they're like, why is the door locked? And I was like, I'm changing. They already knew that someone was in the fucking house, okay? So out of like fucking like, I did not want to get caught. I really thought this was gonna do something, okay? Not in any kind of weird fucking way. Bitch, I fucking lay my whole body on him. Like, I fucking cover him. Like, for my parents not to see. So my sister goes and unlocks the door and lets them in. And I'm just laying down on a whole fucking lump of a person. It was not the best situation for them to walk in on, okay? But I really was about to do anything not to get caught, because I was not about to be grounded for fucking summer. So basically, they end up kind of finding out that there's kind of like a person under me. And yeah, and they had some run-ins with this person already, and they really did not like Wyborn. So then I get up off him, because like it wasn't even in no weird way. Okay, so he gets up, and my dad was like, oh, like, let me drive you home, like, what's going on, like, let me fucking drive you home. They were pissed as fuck. Mind you, it was like 3 in the fucking morning. Okay, so he gets out my room, and then he just like goes down the stairs really quick. He was like, no, I'll walk. He gets out the house, and I guess he fucking ran home. He fucking ran. He ran away from my house. And I don't know, I ended up having a conversation with my mom. She ended up like sitting out there, like outside of my room just watching. I was like, what the fuck? I don't remember. I think my sister got in more trouble because, I mean, it was her plan. It was her, like, basically man's. But yeah, I did get in trouble and so did my sister. So, moral of the story, don't sneak anybody in. Don't do bad things. And I am in no way confessing to the acts stated in this video. Yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Tori. I'm 19, I'm from Alabama, and I go to Auburn University. This is the story time of how I found out my ex-boyfriend of 1 week was cheating on me. Welcome. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. I already told you who I am. Now let me tell you who he is. His name is Ryan Hoffman. He lives in Enterprise, Alabama. He's 23 years old, and he works at a Jeep Ram dealership. Okay, go look him up if you must. There's nothing special. So, I met Ryan December 28th or 27th, something like that. I met him at the end of December, is what I'm saying. Because we went on a cruise together. Another little backstory, he's my cousin's best friend. So that's why he was on this cruise with me and some other people that I knew from my hometown, including my cousin. So, sorry if I ramble. I'm not good at this. Okay, so anyways, first 2 nights of the cruise, I saw him, I thought he was cute, whatever, but I was like, he's 23, or he was 22, he's not gonna go after me, like, I'm 19 years old, like, there's no way. Well, he sits next to me at the dinner table, but he doesn't really remember because he's so drunk the first 2 nights sitting next to me that he can't even really remember my name, which is fun. Boys have their fun, I guess. But that 3rd night rolls around, and he's actually sober enough to recognize who I am. And so me and my cousin and friends and some of the other people we're with, we all go to a comedy show, and I end up right next to him again. I'm like, this is great, like, maybe he is kind of interested in me. And so we end up talking. He can't really remember what we had talked about at dinner the couple nights before, which was fine. Like, I didn't really care all that much because I barely knew him. So, anyways, fast forward, later that night, he gives me his Snapchat, and so I was like, okay, like, bam, I'm in. This is great. This is going so well. And we start talking a little bit, and whatever. So that was, like, December 29th, I think. No, December 30th, something like that. And so I was like, this is perfect. Like, he's so sweet. He's funny, whatever. Fast forward, New Year's Eve. He ends up being my New Year's kiss. He says that I'm so pretty and that he likes me a lot. And I'm like, okay. So we hang out the rest of the cruise. Like, he, like, told these random people that I was his girlfriend. And I was like, okay, like, we're not obviously dating yet, but, like, we were talking at that point, like, whatever. So, fast forward, we get off the cruise. Like, we hate saying bye to each other, but obviously, like, we keep snapping. I have his number too. We text. And he starts making plans to come see me the next weekend that I get back down to Auburn. So we get off the cruise, I think the 4th, and I went back down to Auburn the 5th. So it was like bam, bam. So he's like, I'm gonna come see you next weekend. I said, perfect. Like, that is amazing. Like, I can't believe you're doing that. So Enterprise is 2 hours from Auburn. And not bad. And so he drives up that weekend. He takes me out on a date. Now, this whole time we were on the cruise, he was flexing his money. He bought a $10,000 watch on a cruise. And I was like, oh, because that's a smart financial decision. So he's flexing his money. He pays for, like, our dinner and stuff. And he's like, and we come back here and we talk. And it's just going great. And I'm having so much fun with him. And I thought he was having a lot of fun with me too. Well, I tried to get him to come down again. Or come up, or whatever you want to call it. And he's just, like, kind of avoiding it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I know he's busy. I mean, that's fine. He worked most weekends, whatever. So, fast forward a little bit. His birthday is February 11th. He was turning 23. My cousin's birthday, who's his best friend, his birthday's the 13th. So they were like, we're going to get an Airbnb in Auburn. And you're going to, like, come stay with us. We have some other people coming, like, everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so fun. And they come up Valentine's Day weekend. And he was like, you're my Valentine. I was like, yes, like, of course I am. So I got him a birthday gift, and a Valentine's Day gift, because why wouldn't I? Like, he was basically my boyfriend, and I was pretty sure he was going to ask me to be his girlfriend that weekend. So I got him his gifts. He loved them. And then fast forward to the 15th, everybody's leaving, but he wanted to stay the weekend, like the rest of the day with me. And I was like, of course. So we go out to brunch, and he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I was so freaking happy. I was like, I knew it. Like, this is so amazing. And I was like, just because I'm your girlfriend now, like, does that mean, like, you're gonna come see me more? And he said, yes, of course, like, I want to see you all the time, whenever I can. I was like, yes, like, this is going great. So the whole time he was here that weekend, he was paying for everything for me. And I was like, period. Like, I love being treated how I deserve to be treated, because I had ex-boyfriends in the past. I would pay for shit all the time, and I was like, this is annoying. So fast forward to Saturday. I am working a double shift at my job, and he also had work that day. But after he got off work, he's like, I'm going to hang out with my friends. He never actually told me he was doing that. I assumed, because he does that quite often, which I'm fine with. Like, go hang out with your friends. I hang out with mine all the time. So he says, yeah, like, he snaps me a couple times while he's out, but then I kind of stopped hearing from him, like 9:30. I'm like, okay, like, he probably got a little drunk. Totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. He's a grown adult. So I ended up texting him goodnight, because it was like 12:30 when I went to bed, because I also went out with my friends that night. And so I texted him goodnight, and he was like, oh shoot, I fell asleep, like, good night. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. And I was like, oh, sorry, I woke you up. Whatever. I don't hear from him again until, I want to say 10 something the next day. I was like, okay, he was asleep because he didn't have work. Again, totally fine. Well, I'm at work again, and I get a friend request from a girl. Our only mutual was him. I said, like, in my head, I knew it. I was like, yep, She DMs me. She's like, hey, he stayed at my house last night. We've been sleeping together since around January 8th. I thought he was going to ask me to be his girlfriend soon. He's been taking me out on all these dates, and I thought you should know. She had no idea about me. This is not me blasting her, it's me blasting him. And I'm so grateful for her in so many ways, because a lot of people don't have the guts to tell somebody. She ends up telling me he's been staying at her house every week, just like to see her, and they've been sleeping together, obviously. And I was like, amazing. I was sobbing, and I was texting him. I said, I know, like, who is this? And he tried to lie, saying they weren't sleeping together. But I finally got the truth out of him, and they've been sleeping together, and he slept with her Saturday night too. And I said, okay, perfect, we're done. So that's how my relationship lasted exactly 1 week, and he was cheating on me the entire time we were talking. And when we started dating, I had great luck, obviously.
I've done a lot of stupid stuff in my life, but nothing compares to what I did my junior year of high school. For my job, every summer we would go to a water park and have a fun little work trip. And it was just me and a bunch of girls, and you know, we're teenage girls. Obviously, we were looking for some guys. So all day we're going on rides and slides and having so much fun, and I keep passing the same 2 guys. And the one is so cute. So finally, I decided to say something. I'm like, hey, do you want to race down the sides where you lay on a mat? And like, they say yes. So we go. Bless you. Bless you.
Why is a cute boy yours?
So we race. I don't even remember who won, but honestly, that doesn't matter because we got into close proximity to these guys. So for the rest of the day, my friend and I were walking around with these guys and going on sides and talking. And the really cute one, he asks me, he's like, do you want to see my car? And I was like, sure. Like, maybe he had a cool car, because I don't know why you ask a girl if they want to see your car. So I was like, sure. And I leave the water park with this guy to go see his car because I want to see this super sick car. Obviously, looking back on it, like, I was an idiot, but you know what? It's okay. We learn from our mistakes. So finally, we get to his car. It's nothing special, but it's not like a boring car, but it's not cool. Anyways, he asks me if I like the back seat or the front seat better. I didn't know what to say because I was a very innocent child, and I've never like made out with a boy or anything, so I was like, I don't know. Anyway, he's like, let's go in the back.
Why?
So we get in the back seat, and I just don't even know what I'm supposed to do because I'm absolutely panicked because obviously I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy wants to kiss me, and I'm so scared. Like, I've never done that, and I don't want to be a bad kisser, and then I don't know how to be like, I don't know, I've never done that. And so I just was honest, and I was like, so I've never, like, kissed anyone. And he's like, there's no way. I'm like, yeah, 0 experience. And so he's like, well, it's okay, like, I'll help you. So, like, obviously, you know what happens next. We kissed for, like, 10 minutes, and I thought that was, like, a crazy long time. But your girl has kissed boys for a lot longer since then, unfortunately. After we're done, we go back into the water park, and we exchange, like, Snapchats. But in the car, I told him that if we were to kiss or whatever, like, I don't want to just be used and, like, never talk to again. So that's why we gave each other our Snapchats. But in the end, he maybe snapped me for a week and then never talked to me again.
Okay, everybody's gonna hate me for telling this story, but it must be told because I've made amends with everybody in this story already. Like, we're all fine. So I'm not talking bad about anyone. I'm just telling exactly how it went because this is what happened. Okay, basically I dated this boy, and it was like, we started dating. It was so random. Whatever, we were friends, but we started dating. It was in the summer, and we were kind of like a big friend group, like me, my boyfriend, his best friend, and my best friend. And my best friend was a gay boy, okay? And, like, we were, like, soulmates. Like, think of your best friend, and you think you're platonic soulmates. That was me and this homosexual. We're friends, and basically, he's like, let's all go to Boise. Like, let's all go hang out, and we're gonna get an Airbnb and have fun. We have to go to the Airbnb. So we get there, and we're just hanging out, and, you know, we're just drinking some juice. There's a hot tub at this Airbnb. That's a crucial part of the story. This is where I start to, like, lose my memory because crazy juice. But basically, I just remember I had to get out of the hot tub, and I was throwing up. My friend was trying to help me, and then oh, my dad's gonna watch this. So I change, I shower, like, they help me, whatever. I lose my memory at this point. Like, this is, like, fuzzy, okay? I just remember kind of, like, crashing out. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of crashed out. I was kind of crying, and I was kind of being embarrassing, and I was, like, reflecting on the past because I have some trauma that is, like, unresolved. They were like, Dottie, stop, like, chill, you know? And they were like, let's go for a ride, okay? It was probably 10 times worse than I'm explaining it, but this is how I remember, okay? So I just remember we get in the car. My boyfriend wasn't drinking, so no juice. So he is driving, and I just remember, like, being in the car, crying still, and they were like, what do we do with her? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't handle this. And I'm just, like, in the back, being embarrassing, okay? This is, like, okay, I'm not proud of, like, how I was acting, but, like, I am the victim in the situation. So anyways, I just remember us getting back to the Airbnb, and then my friend was like, go put her in bed. And he was like, I am. So then, I don't even know what time it is. I don't know anything. I don't know. He puts me to bed. He falls asleep with me, but when I wake up the next day, he's not there. But I'm just like, oh, it's probably late. So I get up and I go into the kitchen, and everyone's sitting there, and they're like, do you remember last night, girl? Like, how was it? Like, they were being nice to me, not, like, mad that, like, I was acting stupid. And I was just like, dude, I don't even remember, you know? And everyone was acting normal. We go back home, okay? A month and a half goes by, okay? We want to go to another Airbnb, but we want to go to Salt Lake instead. And he's like, my boyfriend's like, I'm bringing my best friend, so you bring your best friend, or, like, bring a girl or something. And I was like, well, you know, my only best friend is that guy, you know, my little gay bestie. And he's like, okay, you can ask him, just kind of being weird. And I was like, okay. So I text him, and he's like, no, girl, I'm sorry, like, last time was a mess, I don't want to go, sorry. And I was just like, okay, whatever, like, I'm not gonna be like, you're so lame, so whatever. And he had gone on vacation. My best friend, he went to Kentucky to go see his dad, and when he came back, he was kind of just like distant from me, and he went right after the Boise trip, so he was kind of distant from me, and he was hanging out with another girl. But like, I'm never like a jealous friend, like we're dating. Like, I was just like, oh, he just wants to hang out with her more, that's cool. And he was like distant from me, but I was just like, I don't know, maybe he's just getting closer with this girl. I didn't really care. And so he said no to the Salt Lake trip. I was like, cool. We go to Salt Lake, and while we're there, okay, this is like another story within a story. While we're there, we're chilling in the hot tub. There's another hot tub in this one. I have such a bad look. And we're drinking juice. I wasn't even that bad at this point, but my boyfriend was. He was passed out. And his phone's ringing, and his best friend's like, oh, his phone's ringing here. And I'm like, what the, like, I don't recognize this number. Dude, I pick it up, and it's some girl. And she's like, oh my god, your boyfriend is cheating on you, and he has a fake Snapchat, and this and that, and this and that. And I'm like, girl, no, he doesn't. Like, you're so dumb. Like, you know, being delusional. And she's like, go check right now. Like, she wasn't being a girl's girl about it. She was being like a fat hoe about it. I'm sorry. Anyways, I check. He has a fake Snapchat. He's cheating on me. All this, okay? I'm crashing out. And I'm like, I wake him up, and I'm like, bro, what is this? What is this? You know, you're cheating on me. And he's like, yeah, I am. Like, you know. And I'm like, you're so dumb. Like, you're so bad at hiding it. And then my boyfriend just, like, locks himself in one of the Airbnb rooms. And he's like, sleep with my friend. Go sleep in that room with my friend. Because there's only 2 rooms. And I was like, yeah, I will. So I go with his friend. Well, yeah, with his friend. And he's like, at least you guys are over now. Because, like, there's something way worse that happened. And, like, and I'm like, what happened? Like, you can't just say that. You can't just say something worse happened. And he's like, no, bro, no. He's like, I cannot tell you, Tati. Like, it is not my place to tell you. And I was like, bro, you cannot be fake right now. Like, you cannot, like, I know you're his friend, but you cannot just say that. Like, say something worse happened and then not tell me. And he's like, your boyfriend told me that when you were sleeping at the Boise Airbnb, him and your best friend were in the hot tub together being freaks, right? So I'm like, and I didn't even doubt him. Like, I in my heart, I felt it was true. I start crying, and then his best friend starts crying, and he's like, I'm so sorry, like, I should have told you, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, you knew this whole time. Like, I was mad, you know. And he was like, I knew, he told me, and I thought he was kidding, but he said he swore on his life it happened, and he would never do it again, that it was so gay. And I was like, bruh. So I text my best friend, and I'm like, you're so fake, like we have been best friends for years, like, I hate you. He's like, Tati, I would never do that to you, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, we get back from Salt Lake, me and my boyfriend are breaking up, whatever, we're, like, deciding what to do. And then my best friend comes over. My best friend told me his side of the story first. He said that when I fell asleep, my boyfriend texted him saying, is Tati asleep? He said, come to the living room, and my best friend said no. Okay, I asked my boyfriend. He says, oh yeah, I texted him coming to the hot tub. He said no. Already their stories don't line up. So I'm like, bruh. I'm like, yeah, y'all stories don't line up. Like, this is stupid. And my best friend is leaving my house, and he's like, Tati, I really hope you believe me. Like, I would never do this to you. And I was like, your stories don't line up. And he was like, yeah, that's weird, but I would never. A week later, he comes to my house. He admits everything. I recorded it on my iPad. And he was like, he paid me $200 not to tell you anything, Tati. Like, my best friend told me. And I was like, honestly, I think we just need to fight. So we ran a fade, and then we just got tired, and then he left, and then, yeah. But now we're all cordial, because I really hated that man, and, like, he really, like, saved me. And he's gay. And nobody believes me. Well, some people do, but, yeah, that's how I found out. It was actually insane, so. Be careful, because your man could be DL, and your gay best friend could be the sapphire to your Suki. Like, you'll never know. So that's what happened.
Story time on how I fought the town wannabe gangster. So this happened summer 2022. I think I was like 13. And I had this friend, I'll just call her A. And A was like my best friend at the time, like my closest friend. And she had this little brother who was literally like 10 at the time. And one day, like, we all got on our bikes and we rode over to the nearest mall. And since we lived in, like, a small rural town, like, everyone was always hanging out at this mall. Anyways, we get to the mall, we walk around for a little bit, whatever. It's just me, A, and her little brother. And we walk around for a little bit, like, we were chilling, whatever. And then we walk outside of the mall.
and we see the wannabe gangster who I fought. We saw him with his homie. And I think they were like 14 or 15 at the time. They were literally trying to steal A's little brother's. They were trying to steal his bike. Like, they were messing with the seat and stuff, and they were trying to, like, ride it around. And then A, she's like, oh, put that down. Like, that's my little brother's bike. Like, what are you doing? And at the time, A was dating the wannabe gangster. She was dating his homeboy. Not the one that he was with, but his other one. So the wannabe gangster, I'm gonna just call him Micah. Micah looks at her, and he's like, oh, you're dating my homeboy, right? Like, I'll leave the bike alone since you're dating my homeboy. And he was like, if you weren't dating him, though, this bike would have been gone. But then that's whenever Micah, his homeboy, he starts taking off the seat, and he's like, I do need this seat, though. Like, your little brother's not about to have a seat. And A, she's not really being confrontational about it, like, because, like, everyone in town is scared of them. And that's whenever I got mad, because A's little brother was, like, my little brother. And so I was like, no, you're gonna put that seat back right now. Like, you're not touching his bike. And Micah looks at me, and he's like, what are you gonna do about it? Nah, I was being so petty, though, because I was like, okay, that's why your girlfriend cheated on you. Like, what? Because I was friends with Micah's ex-girlfriend, and I was like, that's why she cheated on you. Like, you're a loser. You're a little bitch. And that's whenever he got so mad. He was like, what did you just call me? What did you just call me? Say it again. And I was like, you're a little bitch. That's whenever he drops the bike. His homie's just standing there, and he starts chasing me in the mall parking lot. Also, a lot of fights happened in the small parking lot. I don't know why. I swear it was always the mall parking lot. There was always something going down there. But no, he starts chasing me, and that's when A starts following. And she's like, don't touch her. You better not touch her. And he's like, no, she just called me a little bitch. Like, going off. I'm like, zip it, bro. Zip it. And that's when I think in my head, I'm like, nah, this is not gonna slide with me, bro. Because then he starts calling me a bitch, and, like, he's just cussing me out. And I'm like, bro, I'm not having this. So I stop, and he's still chasing me. And that's whenever he jumps on me and starts hitting. And he's like a scrawny dude. I'm not even gonna lie. He did not hit very hard. But yeah, he jumps on me, and he starts hitting me. And that's whenever I start, like, boom, boom, boom. Like, I'm hitting him back, and we're just fighting each other. And, like, as he's on top of me hitting me, I say something so petty, bro. Oh, my gosh. This got him so fired up, bro. Oh, my gosh. If he wasn't already mad at me before. Because he was hitting me, and I was like, where'd you learn how to hit girls, your dad? And he started hitting me harder. And, like, at this point, he's on top of me. But then I roll over, and I start punching him, and now I'm on top of him, hitting him. And I'm just punching him. I'm calling him, like, a bunch of names. And I'm like, that's why your girlfriend cheated on you. You're a loser. And then, freaking A, she comes in and she tackles him, bro. She, like, moves me and she just tackles him and, like, punches him in the face. And then we get up back on our bikes and we just bike away, bro. We go to A's house or whatever. And so we're at A's house, and remember how I said A was dating his homeboy, right? Well, he calls A and he's like, why is Micah calling me saying that y'all just fought him? Like, what's going on? And she's all like, nah, Micah's, he's a little bitch, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my gosh, bro. And then that's whenever we find out that Micah's homeboy is actually with him. Because all of a sudden, she's on the phone with her boyfriend, and all of a sudden, we hear Micah, and he's like, what's all this shit you were talking? Huh? What? You want to go round two? And that's whenever I grab A's phone, and I'm like, yeah, I do want to go round two, actually, because... And I was like, bro, you're a little pussy trying to take a 10-year-old's bike. Like, bro, you're weird. And we're literally just cussing each other out over the phone. And he's like, come pull up then, come pull up. And I was like, I will, keep testing me. And I was just like, bro, I don't know why everyone's scared of you too. Like, you're a little pussy. Like, I don't know why. Like, you're weird. And I was like, that's why your girlfriend cheated on you. That's why you have no life, blah, blah, blah. And he was so mad. And at this point, he just starts cussing me out. And I'm ignoring him. And I was like, bro, it's going one ear out the other. Like, you're irrelevant now. Like, I'm already over it. And that's whenever he got quiet. And he was like, you know what? You're actually pretty chill. I'm not gonna lie. Do you want $5? I was like, what? And I was like, no, I don't want $5. We have beef now. And I hung up on him. So, like, a few years passed after this incident. It's sophomore year now. Mind y'all, Micah was really homophobic. Like, he would make fun of all the gay kids in town, right? Photos of him got leaked. And whole time, he was cracking his homeboy. And I'm like, serves him right, bro. That's what he gets. Karma. It's always the homophobic ones, y'all.
When I was 16, I was raised by my best friend's cousin, who was 21 at the time. Hi, my name is Summer, and this is my story about Colin Stern. It was the beginning of summer before my senior year of high school, and my best friend asked me if I wanted to stay with her at her grandparents' for the fair that they were having. This fair was like any old Midwest fair with animals and tractor pulls and alcohol. We arrive at the grandparents' house, and Colin is there with his friend From, or Spade From, which is what he would call himself. Don't know if that's his legal name or anything like that, but that was his name. Since obviously one of them was my best friend's cousin, the friend decided to hit on my best friend. So the friend was hitting on my best friend, and then the cousin was hitting on me. And as a 16-year-old girl who's having an older man like her, I was very inclined to listen to what he had to say and do what he wanted because I didn't know any better at this time. Colin asked us if we would like to drink, so he went to the local liquor store to pick up some alcohol and brought it back to the house for us. I was 16 and I had barely drank any alcohol before in my life, maybe a sip of wine, so this alcohol got me drunk really fast. We all hung out till pretty late in the kitchen, getting drunk and eating some whipped cream from the can until it was time to go to bed. So we all go downstairs to go to bed, and there was like 3 beds. The guys were supposed to sleep together, and then us girls were supposed to have our own individual beds or something along that nature. But instead what happened was I crawl into bed, and I suddenly feel someone else crawling into bed with me. Guess who it was? It was Colin. He crawled into bed with me, and he began touching me in places that I did not want him to. I tried to remove his hands, but I was so drunk and so sleepy that I kind of just gave in because I didn't really know what the best method was, like, to get him off of me. I was very scared. He then ended up coercing me into going upstairs to their grandparents' couch, which is where the actual event took place, where he raped me, and then when it was over, I went down and went to sleep like nothing happened. And I never told my best friend. I didn't tell her until 5 years later. After this, I was under his spell and was brushed by him, and he proceeded to grape me multiple times over the next few months after coercing me to go to his apartment and tying me up and graping me. Suddenly, one day, I got this horrible feeling in my stomach, and I decided to block him, and I have not spoken to him since. That was the way that I cut him off. But that day, I found out that he was also speaking to other underage girls and was doing the same thing to them. Colin is now married, and I have no idea who his wife is, but if you are his wife and you are married to a man named Colin Stern, please know that he is a schmedophile, and he is not to be trusted, and you should probably divorce him.
In 2024, I had to file a police report on a woman who was pretending to be my son's aunt and try to get him to come out to her. Just some backstory, my son's name is Marcelo, and me and his dad co-parent. So his dad randomly texted me on this morning, it was like 7 or 8 in the morning, and he was like, "Where's Marcelo? Did you go out last night? Like, where is he? Is he with you? Like, what?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, what's going on? I didn't go out. I just woke up. Like, what are you literally talking about?" He proceeds to tell me that there was a woman who came up to his mom's house and called Marcelo by name and said that she was his aunt and she was there to get him and that she can hear him inside and that they need to let her get him. And I'm like, no, this got to be a joke. Like, what are you talking about? I didn't send anyone to your mom's house because I have my son with me. No one knows where your mom, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? He sends me the video, okay? He sends me the video, and sure enough, it is this random woman I have never seen before in my life. She is calling my son by name. She's basically saying, "I hear you in there, like, you need to come to TT," like, crazy shit. I do have the footage, and I am going to insert it so you guys see.
"Marcelo, right now, please bring me my nephew."
So I'm like, I have no clue who she is. I said, "You guys need to go door to door and try to figure out who that is, if they've ever seen her around, because I have no clue who that is. And so I take a screenshot from the video and I send it to pretty much everyone I know, and I'm like, do you know this person? Everyone says, no, I don't know her. So then he ends up getting back to me and he's like, they went door to door, his mom went door to door, and they actually found out that she lives 2 houses down from where his mom lives. So his mom lives here, that woman lives 2 houses down. So now I'm like, well, I'm about to pull up. So I basically call everyone I know because I'm like, I've never been through this, but like now I'm like fuming because I'm like, you live 2 houses down, you're calling for my son by name, it's 2 or 3 in the morning, what the fuck is going on in your mind? Like, there was no like fight or flight, it was straight fight. Like, I needed to figure it out and I needed to figure it out ASAP. But I like calmed down and I was like, well, I need to go make a police report. I was like, because if anything does ever happen to my son, if something happens, like, it is on record that this is the woman, you know, whatever. Since I know the address, I end up looking the address up, and when you do that, you can get the name of the people living there, you can get phone numbers. So I found the name, I looked it up on Facebook, I found out what her name was, I found out how old she was, her birthday, everything. There's also another app that you can, if you know that simple information, you can look that up and it'll tell you if they have ever been arrested or locked up for anything. And she did have a record. So this random woman I don't know, who came up at 3, 4 in the morning looking for my son by name, pretending to be his aunt. She lives 2 houses down and she has a record. I pick my sister up and we go down to the police station. Now, at the police station, you have to like buzz in and they ask you like, why are you here? And I really didn't know what to say because I'm like, I'm here to make a police report. And they're asking me like, why? Instead of just being like, okay, we'll buzz you in. They're like, okay, like what is it about? And I'm like, well, someone's trying to take my son. They buzz me in, I kid you not. They're like, well, we don't really have the people here right now who deals with that kind of stuff. Whatever that means. So if you just want to wait around for a little bit, once they get here, I will direct them right to you and you can give them their statement. I'm like, okay, cool. I kid you not, we were waiting probably about an hour before my sister went up to the desk or whatever, and she was like, what what's going on? Like, what are we doing here? Like, we need to make a statement, like, what's going on? Then he was like, they're still not here, give it a couple more minutes. So we waited about another 10-15 minutes and a police officer comes out and I start giving him my statement. What pissed me off is he seemed very like uninterested. He seemed like he wasn't taking it serious. And so I'm telling him and he's like, well, has your son ever met her before? And I'm like, my son is 4. And when I tell him that, his attitude, his demeanor, his body language changes. And he's like, oh, I thought your son was like 13. I said, 13? How old do I look? I said, no, I have a 4-year-old son. I don't feel like you guys are taking this serious. There was a woman asking for him by name. I have the video. And then that's when he starts getting like, okay, let's get serious. So I show him the video. And he's like, first thing he says is, yeah, she's off her rocks. No shit. So then he basically says, we're going to send somebody out there. We're going to figure it out. And I'm like, okay, cool. The mom in me, though, I couldn't just leave it at that because I already felt like you guys weren't taking it as serious as it should be. Like, I don't know this woman. I'm telling you I don't know them. I don't know her. Like, I don't know, and I don't feel like you're taking me serious. So I also did something probably not smart, but I know the address. I know where you're at. So I pulled up. Me and my child's father, we pulled up. He knocks on the door. This older woman answers the door and we're like, hi, is so-and-so here? And she's like, no, like, why? And I was like, because we need to talk to her. Like, flat out, we need to talk to her. And my child's father basically told her, like, this is what's going on. We just need to see, like, what's going on. She goes on to tell us that she's at an interview right now. Okay. She's at an interview right now. She'll be back later. I'll tell her, you know, some people stopped by for her. Whatever. At this point, there's nothing left I can do. They gave me a number so I can like update or get an update later on about if they went out to the house and went to go see her. There was nothing I could do at that point. So I just start getting as much information on this person as I can. And I went to Facebook. I started looking her up. And I look her up even deeper and I find out she has a brother. I click on the brother's page. This brother looks like he's married. He looks like he has a kid. He looks like you know, he's good in life, right? So I'm just scrolling his post or whatever just to see if there's anything. I don't really know what I was looking for. I was just trying to gather as much information as I could because I felt like the cops weren't taking it serious. I see this post. It is of his son's first birthday, I believe it was. And he was making the post. And in there, as I'm reading the post, his son's name was spelled Marcelo. If you remember in the video, that's what she was calling my son. My son's name is Marcelo. His son's name is Marcelo. And I'm assuming that by the spelling of it. But Marcelo is what a lot of people call my son because they don't get the Salo part, so they call him Cello. I don't know. So when I seen that, I was like I was stumped. Because I'm starting to think she might have like schizophrenia or there's something wrong with her. And because she has a nephew named Marcelo, maybe she heard my son's name around there and she genuinely thought her nephew was in there and she was looking for her nephew. I don't know. And that's where I will forever be stumped at because I made a police report. I pulled up to her house. I did everything that I thought I could in my power to find out that you also have a nephew named Marcelo. So it's like, is it a big coincidence? Did I overreact? Did I underreact? I never heard anything back from the police. I genuinely don't know if they went there. I don't know if they talked to her. I don't know. So I dropped it. I let it be. I told his dad to be super cautious. Like, I think that it was just a misunderstanding. I don't know. I digress. This has nothing to do with the story, but later on Facebook, I found a post about the same woman trying to break into someone's house or something. So nonetheless, she's not all there, but I still don't know how I feel. I don't know if she was looking for my son. I don't know if she was looking for her nephew because the names are very similar, which is wild because it's a very unique name that not a lot of people have. So I don't know, guys. Y'all gotta tell me. Like, was I tripping? Was I doing too much? Was I not doing too much? Is it a coincidence? Like, I don't know.
Okay, guys, welcome to the first part of my Who the Fuck Did I Marry series. It's me and my little sister here. Okay, so I want to reference by saying I will not be saying names. This is no hate whatsoever. This is my side of the story, and I am telling my side because I want to spread awareness for other girls also in this situation. Okay, so first we're going to start with when he added me on Snapchat. He added me on Snapchat on July 28th of 2024. And then from there, he was in San Diego, California for a couple days, like 2 to 4. And then he got stationed over in Quantico, Virginia at the MSG school over there. Okay, and then as soon as he got moved to Quantico, that's when we started FaceTiming every single night. We were texting all the time. We were updating each other on different things that we were doing, like, throughout the day. And that's when our relationship kind of became established between each other. So then fast forward all the way through August. In September, it was the first weekend in September. That is when we met. It was Memorial Day weekend. So September of 2024, that's when we met for the first time, and we hung out for, I want to say, an hour and a half. But in between that, I drove 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours out there, hung out with him, and then he told me that his uncle wanted to go fishing. It was indeed not fishing that he wanted to do. Okay, so the reason that he had me go home after an hour and a half of us hanging out is because he wanted to go and play video games, and he did not want me at his grandparents' house at all. So then I drove 2.5, almost 3 hours back home after an hour and a half, and I actually didn't go home. I went to my best friend's Memorial Day weekend, like, little party thing that she had at her grandparents' house. Okay, so then he was only home for a week, so we went back to Quantico. He was literally only back there for a week, and then he got sent home again because he had time off. So when he came back for the second time in September, he came over to my house, and he spent the night at my house. I went and I drove 2.5 hours to go pick him up with my brother because I don't know, I just brought my brother with. And then he came back home with us. So then he had spent the night at my house. Before though, we started watching our show, which was supposed to be our show, but it wasn't. Anyway, we started watching Dexter, and then we also got Dairy Queen, and then literally we just watched movies the entire time. And then it got to the point where he had to go to bed. So I made like a little mattress kind of thing on the floor for him, and then he slept down there. But before that, he started a fight with me. I honestly don't know why that fight started. I genuinely cannot remember why it did, but he ended up calling me horrible names and all this other stuff about how I'm not for him and he's not for me. He's not looking for a relationship. And this was after he already started talking marriage with me. And mind you, this is moving very, very quick. Okay, so then the next morning we both wake up. I end up taking him back to his parents' house, or his grandparents' house, and then I go home. And then when I get home, he texts me. He's like, hey, on Monday, like, I'm having a going away party at my grandparents' house. Okay, so he wants me to go over there and go to this little going away party that he's having at his grandparents' house. So I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, like, is it okay if I go? And she said yes. So I go over there, like, I want to say, like, late morning, early afternoon. And then we go out to lunch with his mom, and we go to Moose Lodge in the Dells. Okay, so then after lunch with his mom, we go to the zoo because he wants to meet up with his dad. He told me that nobody from his past has ever met his dad besides one of his ex-girlfriends. So I kind of looked at it as like so this is really, really serious. Okay, and then on the way back from the zoo, he holds my hand the entire drive, and he's really sweet to me. And he starts talking about how he wants me to spend the night with him. So, of course, I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, is it okay if I spend the night? And she said yes. She said it was okay. So then after being at his mom's house for a little bit, we go over to his grandparents' house, and we have a little going away party. His friend was also there. And we all just hang out. I meet a bunch of his family, and they're all super sweet. Like, I love his family. Oh, but little cut here. He also lied to his entire family and told his entire family that I was 20, but I was 17 at the time. And he was 19 at the time. Okay, so then after the going away party, we go over to his mom's house. We have the house all to ourselves. We spend the night there, and we were watching movies and everything. And then the next morning, I dropped him off at his grandparents' house, and then I left because I had my chemistry class that I was doing at a college for one of my PSEO classes. And then afterwards, he did go back to Quantico, and then we were long distance once again. And in between the time from then until the time he asked me to be his girlfriend, which we were already pretty serious, he went to the clubs with his friends. And it was not just like regular clubs, it was DC clubs. And then he tells me that, he didn't mention any of this until months later. He mentioned to me that he fucked a girl in the bathroom at that club when he went. After posting a bunch of videos of half-naked, like the half-naked bottle girls at the clubs and everything, he posted that on his story as well when he went. And that is when he started really getting very verbally abusive and emotionally abusive towards me. He started getting upset at me for every little thing about my past. It was I would tell him about the schooling that I did. I would tell him about, like, me and my friends, what we used to do. And he would get very visibly upset at me because I would be talking about my past, and it would remind him that I had ex-boyfriends. And then he would call me very harsh terms. He would call me a whore. He would call me a slut. He would say that I was so disgusting and that he never wants to touch me ever again. And he never even wants to look in my direction ever again. He also told me one time that, or no, multiple times, but I remember a specific time from it, that I was so disgusting, and he was so disgusted by the fact that I had ex-boyfriends and stuff that he never wanted to kiss me ever again. He would also start telling me that I could not compliment him because my ex-boyfriends look nothing like him, to him apparently, because the reason that he told me that I couldn't compliment him is because my exes were disgusting and I thought that they were attractive, because he thinks that he is 100% the most attractive man on this fucking earth. But he told me that I'm not allowed to compliment him because I found my exes attractive and there's no way that he could be my type because my exes don't look a lot like him. And then every single time that he would remember my past, he would call me derogatory terms, like he would call me a bitch, he would call me a slut, he would call me a whore, he would again tell me that I'm disgusting, and then he would go on and on about how I'd never compare to his exes because they were both virgins when they met. Or like his exes were virgins when they got with him. And he also he told me that it was disgusting that I went through sexual abuse as a young child. He told me that he wishes that I would have told him sooner because it disgusts him at the fact that that happened to me, and that he finds me disgusting because that happened. This is also when all of the body shaming came into play as well, but that will have to be for the next part. Okay, and then through all of this, October 2nd, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said yes. And that was after repeatedly begging him to. And then he also got upset with me because I had him ask me to be his girlfriend, but I did not do that for him. I didn't ask him to be my boyfriend, and he was upset because I should have been doing that for him. He shouldn't have been doing that for me. But that's gonna wrap up the part 1 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Okay guys, part 2 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Okay, again, this is all for awareness completely. This is no hate whatsoever. This is me telling my side of the story and wanting to share that side of the story to spread awareness on other girls also in this situation. Okay, so bouncing back from part 1 where we ended off with the body shaming part. So basically, it was almost throughout our entire relationship that he would very harshly body shame me. He would constantly tell me that my rib cage was too wide, my shoulders are too broad. He told me that my arms were too big. I hated all of my senior photos because he told me that my arms were way too big in them and that I shouldn't have wore what I wore because they showed everything that he would tell me that looked really bad on me. Okay, so another thing is he would very much tell me every single day how my arms were too big. He would have me do 20-minute arm circles every single day to make sure that my arms were not fat, you know? He genuinely made me hate every single part of my body at very much the beginning of our relationship because he would constantly tell me that I was too big and that I needed to slim down. And he would tell me all these different like weight loss tricks with cutting out different foods. He would tell me different diets that I could go on. He would send me workout videos and tell me, here baby, I think you need this. Okay. He told me that my body was not proportionate because the top half of my body was super big and bulky along with my tummy. He would constantly grab my stomach and tell me that it was just his little squishy tummy. And I'm like, that's not a compliment. But then he would turn around and tell me that my legs are way too skinny for my body because I looked really unproportionate. He would also tell me that my face was really oddly shaped. He would tell me my chin is too pointy, my forehead is too big, and that my cheeks are too chunky. Okay, so moving forward to November. November of 2024 was definitely the roughest because that's when everything started escalating because November 9th, he asked me to marry him. I said yes. Oh, yeah.
because me and my mom, we went out to Quantico because I wanted to go see him and she wanted a little trip for us. So I went out there with my mom and we ended up getting engaged that weekend. And that night, the night that we got engaged, he ended up going through my phone, which I had nothing to hide because I was not doing any sneaky stuff behind his back at all. So he was going through my entire phone and he didn't find anything until he went into my friend's like saved in chats. And with that friend, I had a picture of me and the guy that I went to Snowball with earlier that year, which was in February. Mind you, I did not even know who he was in February. But he started a whole argument about it and he told me that I'm disgusting again. Told me that he looks nothing like me. I can't be his type, or he can't be my type. And from there, it escalated because he told me that he's getting an Uber and that I can just keep the ring. He was calling off the engagement. He almost called his mom as well and told her. So from there, he ended up ordering himself an Uber back to the barracks because he did not want to be in the same room as me. I stood in front of the door and I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out, telling him not to leave because it was an old photo. There's nothing about it. Like, I had no feelings whatsoever. I even forgot it was there. But he ended up having that Uber come, and while he was waiting for said Uber, he was sitting on the chair like in the corner of the hotel room because that's where we were at the time. While sitting in that chair, he re-downloaded Tinder and was swiping on Tinder right in front of me and showing me different girls. He's like, oh, I'll probably hook up with her tonight, especially since this is a no-go. I have no feelings towards you whatsoever. He told me how much he hated me and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, we went out to dinner earlier that night, and that's when he told me he loved me for the first time. In person. That was for the first time in person. And then he also yelled at me because he wasted money on an Uber he didn't take, and he got mad at me because it was all of my fault, and it was my fault because I wouldn't let him leave. He told me he was gonna call the cops on me and all this other stuff because it was a hostage situation, I guess, because I was standing in front of the door. And he told me that I was being manipulative and everything like that because I would not move from the door knowing that he wouldn't lay hands on me. But I inevitably ended up convincing him to stay. He did walk out of the room and outside for a little while. I'm pretty sure he probably called his mom and told her everything or something like that. He also hated when I cried. He told me to stop crying because it's not a good look on me. He told me that if I'm gonna cry that I should go to the bathroom because he doesn't want to see it. Oh, he also told me one time on FaceTime that if I could mute myself while I'm crying because he has to sleep. And I was crying about him, about a situation he created. So the next morning I was still scared because I was scared that he was still going to be upset about what happened the night before, but he acted as if nothing ever happened. We had good days afterwards and we were apparently just completely fine afterwards, and then we dropped him back off on Sunday and then ended up leaving earlier that morning. And then as soon as we went back to being long distance, he started cussing at me again. He started calling me very derogatory terms. He tried to break off the engagement multiple times. And each time he would, remember my past, he would block me on everything. And then I would have to find ways to contact him to beg for him back. And that was very, very dumb of me to do because I should have just left it at that. And then Thanksgiving came around. So Thanksgiving, he wanted to come home because he did have a couple days that he could come home. So I paid for half of his ticket, which was over $200. And I also picked him up from the airport. So he flew into Minneapolis and I picked him up from the airport and I had to get tires that same day and things ended up going south. So my tire situation, it ended up completely going way later than I expected. I expected to be up in Minneapolis by the time he landed, but I wasn't in Minneapolis until I want to say 30 minutes after he landed. The entire time, the entire drive that I was making up there, I had such bad anxiety because I knew that he was going to be mad at me for being late, And I, yep, would have guessed it, because as soon as he landed, he texted me. He's like, where the fuck are you? I'm like, I'm driving up there right now. Like, getting my tires ended up taking a little bit longer than I expected. He told me that he was going to get an Uber back to his house because I was taking too long, and that I didn't care about anybody but myself in that moment, because I was being selfish and I shouldn't have gotten the new tires if it was going to take that long. Mind you, the Uber would have been very expensive because it was a 3-hour Uber from Minneapolis over to where he lived. I tried to call him and he denied my calls until I called him a second time. He answered and cussed me out over the phone, asking me where the fuck I am and everything like that. And then as soon as he got into my car, first he opened up my back door to put his stuff in. He started yelling at me right then and there and telling me how dirty my car is and how he's so pissed off that I'm late. He started yelling at me in front of everybody at the airport. And it was a 2-hour drive to the airport and a 2-hour drive back. So the entire drive, he did not say anything to me. He didn't kiss me. He didn't do anything whatsoever but yell in my face. He didn't talk to me until an hour into our drive when we were about to hit Rochester, because he was hungry and he wanted food. So the only place that was open was Arby's. So I went to Arby's and I bought him food after he did not talk to me and cussed me out in front of everyone. And then I got him food, and then as soon as we got back to my place, he did not say a single word to me again and just went straight to bed. And that's kind of it from there, because when we woke up the next morning, he wanted to go to his house, so we were going to go over to his grandparents' house to surprise them, which we did end up doing, but his mom caught on, so his mom called him, and his mom was in on it, but his grandparents did not know. And yep, the 2.5 hour, almost 3-hour drive out there was exhausting. But that is it for part 2. Part 3 will be coming soon. Okay, part 3 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Again, this is no hate to anybody involved. There will be no names said, and this is all for spreading awareness for other girls also in this situation. Okay, so starting right where we left off on part 2, we got to his family's house, we said hi and everything, and right away his mom, of course, came in, said hi to both of us, and everybody ended up showing up at different times. All of his family was there. So his family, they're from Wisconsin. They do partake in drinking during holidays, which is pretty common for a lot of other families as well. His mom did offer me a drink, and she had already made it, so I took the drink and I had the drink. And next thing I know, my ex-husband is bringing me downstairs to their spare bedroom where we will be staying for the night that we're staying there. He sat me down on the edge of the bed and started telling me how stupid and immature I act when I drink, and how he doesn't want me drinking around his family because it's embarrassing for him. And mind you, he was also drinking. He has had probably 3 drinks. He was 3 drinks in when he brought me downstairs. And I didn't really say much back to him. I was just okay, I understand, because so the reason that he told me that I was being childish or telling me not to drink is because I used to tell him about the parties that I would go to, and he used to tell me about the parties he would go to, but it was fine when he did it. It wasn't okay when I did it, because he didn't want to hear about my past, but I had to hear about his. So again, I didn't really say much. I was crying at that point because he was sitting there telling me how stupid I am and everything like that. Then we ended up going back upstairs. Okay, so after we get back upstairs, we start eating dinner. And right away, it was more of he was calling me fat, and he was body shaming me in front of his family. And his grandmother and his mother also both stepped in and was stop calling her fat. She's literally 100 pounds soaking wet. And he was just super rude, and he got mad at them because they stood up for me in that situation. And then after dinner, me, him, and his little sister go downstairs, and we go to the spare bedroom. He was cuddling with his little sister in the bed. I was on one side, she was on the other, and they were both making fun of me. He was sitting there calling me needy because I wanted a little bit of his attention, because I kind of wanted to talk to him and, you know, spend time with him. I understood that he also wanted to spend time with his family, and that was completely fine with me. Then, he kicked his little sister out of the room because we wanted to go to bed, so we ended up going to bed. Okay, and then the next day we woke up. We kind of just watched movies that day. We didn't really do much because his grandma was working, his grandpa was working. We were at his grandparents' house, so we kind of just watched movies all day. Then that night we went out to dinner with his family. We went to a place that his mom works at, and we had like a little fish fry thing because it was a Friday night. And then after that we ended up going back to my house. On Saturday, we had Thanksgiving with my family, it was like my immediate family, so it was like me and my mom, my dad, and my brother, and then it was a couple of my cousins as well. As soon as we got there, he started like whispering in my ear, telling me that my family is weird and that they're not like his family and he doesn't like my family and all this other stuff. And he basically, right after supper, he went straight down to my room and did not really talk to anyone. And then after a little bit, I went down to my room to, you know, go join him because I was also tired. So I went down to my room, and then we ended up going to bed. And then at 2 a.m. that morning, I drove 2 hours to drop him off back at the airport. Okay, and he also did not want me to give him a hug or a kiss outside of the car because it was embarrassing for him. So basically stopped, he gave me the tiniest peck on the lips and left. We went back to being long distance, and of course back with everything that was going on before, like calling off the engagement multiple times, being very vulgar towards me, remembering my past and berating me for that as well. Oh, and one little side note, he got moved to MBW, which is Marine Barracks, Washington in Washington, D.C., right before Thanksgiving. And another thing that happened that he almost blocked me for was he made me tell him every single detail from start to finish on what happened to me as a kid when I was sexually abused. So I had to relive through all of that trauma once again. And afterwards, he started calling me disgusting names and saying that it was disgusting that that ever happened to me, and that I am disgusting because I allowed it to happen, even though I was 7 years old. Okay, so after that, I also scheduled engagement photos for us because he was coming back for Christmas because he had a 20-day leave block, which I did schedule those engagement photos. I put down a $160 deposit, and I already bought my outfit for said engagement photos. And he went and somehow found a picture of me and my ex that looked like a professional photo, but it wasn't. And he told me that I need to cancel all of the engagement photos that I had planned because he doesn't want to do it with me because I already did it with my ex before. So I lost out on over $100 on the outfit that I bought for the engagement photos that I never ended up wearing because he also told me that my outfit made me look like a slut because it was a skirt and a like long sweater kind of thing. And I also lost out on the $160 deposit. And Christmas break came. I'm going to kind of fast forward a little bit because that was all the major things that happened throughout the time that we were long distance once again. Okay, so Christmas break came. I drove 2 hours to the airport once again to go pick him up. And then we got down to Rochester and he wanted food. So I kind of, went and I bought him food again, and he kissed me and thanked me this time. And then there was one Christmas that we went to with my family, which he was calling my entire family gross and saying that, they just weren't like his family and that he just did not like my family at all. And that was, all of my dad's side of the family. Okay, so then after a little while, we both kind of get tired of being at family Christmas because we've been there for hours already. So we both go out to my mom's car. And while we're in my mom's car, I see that he is texting the girls that he's hooked up with or almost dated. And this escalates some things. So basically, I start crying about it because I tell him, I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you texting the girls that you've had feelings for, you've hooked up with, and you've almost dated? I just don't understand why you're doing that because we are in a committed relationship to each other. I don't think that is good, and I think that is crossing a boundary 100%. And while I'm telling him all of this, he told me that I have to deal with your past, so you have to deal with what's going on right now. I had to get over your past because I don't like things about your past, so you just have to get over this, and it's not that serious. Okay, so then while I am crying, he sent a video of me crying to the girl that he was Snapchatting that he has hooked up with and almost dated. And he was also making fun of me in it. He was, while he was taking the video, he showed it over to me and was like, oh look, she's crying because of you, and sent it to said girl. And of course, as you can imagine, that set me off. I was like, can you stop? Like, I do not want videos taken of me while I'm crying, especially sent to her. And he got super upset with me that I was stern talking with him because I should not have been doing that. And he told me that if I don't lose my fucking attitude, that he's just gonna go home and he is not gonna spend his Christmas break with me. And every time that he would have these like stern talkings with me, he would grab my arm and make sure that I was looking him dead in the face, and he would tell me that I need to lose my attitude and that I'm acting childish right now because it's not that big of a deal and it never will be. So basically that wraps up part 3, and stay tuned for part 4. It will be coming out tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central. And it might come out just a little bit late because it is my birthday tomorrow, so I will be spending time with my family.
So, episode 2 on my dating fails. So this one happened quite a while ago, and I was really, really busy with work. So I was on Facebook dating, and this guy was messaging back and forth with me, and I would only be able to message like once a day. So then we exchanged numbers because it was easier. And I kind of forgot who he even was, and I just agreed to go on a date because I'm like, sure, let's do that. I have some free time on this day after this hour. Make it happen. He was like, okay, I'm going to plan the date. I'll let you know where we're going to go. And then he picked the same restaurant that I always usually take my victims to. And he's not from the city that I live in. He's from like probably closer to an hour away. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm totally comfortable going there. So I actually got there early, which is really rare for me. I'm definitely always 15 minutes late to everything. And I think I was like 15 minutes early, and I had ordered food because I was starving, hadn't eaten all day, and I was exhausted from work. And I'm like, okay, I'm happy to be on a date, and I'm going to get food, and I'm going to have a drink, and I'm going to relax. And then he showed up, and I was like, cool, there he is. I see him coming. And I realized who he was, like, after I had planned the date. Well, he planned the date, but, you know, after he asked me to go on a date, I'm like, okay, I better figure out who this guy is. So, and he was tall, 6 foot something, dark hair, handsome. And I'm like, all right, this is checking out. This person is real. And then he just kind of gives me one of these, and I'm like, hi. And then he shows me his phone, and he's like, hi, with his phone, like it's in text. And I'm like, oh, I definitely missed the fact that he was deaf, but also I didn't miss it because he didn't say it anywhere in his profile or tell me about it at all. And then he was like, did you not realize that I'm deaf? And I was like, no, actually, I didn't. And then we proceeded to have our date. And I was like, yeah, I ordered food. Feel free to eat any of this. It's fine. I'm not going to eat it all. And I didn't expect him to pay for like my food, but he ended up paying for everything. And I was like, that's super nice. So yeah, I used talk to text, and he would just text
and we used his phone. And he didn't lip read. I don't know ASL. He did try to teach me a few things, which was cool. So we finished the wings and mozzarella sticks that I ordered, had a couple drinks. We talked a lot. I got to know him pretty well. He only wants to date hearing women because he was married once, and it was to someone who was deaf, and they met at some kind of like, almost like a deaf group. Like he went on like a trip as with a group of people who were all deaf and met other deaf people, and she was Canadian, and he basically was like, she used me for a green card and kids. So he has like 2 kids that he has custody of. And so yeah, I got to know a lot about him. And he was nice, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to see him again, and I did not want to kiss him or anything. So the date ended, and he paid. Again, very nice of him to pay. So then we went to the parking lot because the bar was closing, and he was like, I really want you to check out my SUV. And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, we're going that way, so whatever. Hi, Maggie. So we parked pretty close to each other, and he was like, yeah, my SUV is a Volkswagen and it's electric. And I was like, cool. Like, I had to stop myself from saying boogie woogie woogie, but you know, he wouldn't have heard it anyways. And so then he was like, yeah, you should sit in it. And I was like, I don't really want to. And he kind of basically like opened the door and just didn't really give me many options, because like, didn't matter what I said. He couldn't hear me. And I didn't know how to tell him no other than to say it. And we weren't using the phone anymore. And he just kind of like ushered me into his car. So here I am in his car. And he was like, I just want to take you for a ride so you can experience an electric car, because you've never been in one. And I was like, okay. And he tried to kiss me. We went around the parking lot, and he tried to kiss me twice. And I just like, no. Now I'm like, I'm done. Thanks for the ride. And then when we were done with the ride, he was like, so what did you think about it? And I was like, it was quiet. Very quiet. Yeah. And I never spoke to him again, and I blocked him because that was just bizarre. So I wanted to make a follow-up video and go over the episode 1 date and kind of talk about the things that people were commenting on about how like, oh, well, what other flaws does he have? Like, because I, mentioned that he was short and slender and had a missing tooth. And honestly, I usually don't go on dates with men that have missing teeth. Like, that's one of my rules. Don't date a man that's missing a tooth. Sorry, not sorry. I also don't date men that are shorter than me. It's a preference. And I didn't know if he was going to be shorter than me or not, and he wasn't. So therefore, he was acceptable to date. The missing tooth thing, he didn't tell me about it. I noticed it when we video chatted, and I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, usually people don't notice. And I was like, well, I noticed, but it's not like, it wasn't a front tooth. It was like a side tooth. I don't know. It might have been this one. I don't know. But it wasn't super noticeable. I just happened to notice it when he smiled. And I was like, it's fine. I like your personality. I still am fine with going on this date with you. And he brought up that like he had never dated anyone as thick as I am. And I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? And he was like, well, maybe since you know, you're thick and I'm not. And he's like, I'm a little guy. And he's like, I'm Italian, so I'm really short too. And I'm tiny. Like he's saying how slender he was. And he's like, we should probably like have a quick meet just to see if we're compatible and like have a nice proper hug and see if like we fit together, if we feel comfortable hugging each other, because if it's awkward and uncomfortable, then we should just probably not continue, even though we were having good conversations. So that was the goal of that date, was to see if we were physically compatible. And I mean, he was taller than me. So that's one thing I prefer men to be at least a half inch to an inch taller than me at the shoulder. And I'm 5'5". I'm not exactly tall. I don't care that he's skinny. I've dated super skinny guys. I've dated not skinny guys. That didn't matter. Yeah. So I just wanted to clarify. This was a planned thing. He knew that I was thicker and I knew that he was skinny and short. So it was a whole discussed thing. So are y'all ready for a dating fail episode 3? So this guy was in my People You May Know on Facebook. And he was there for a while, and I was checking him out, I won't lie. So then he finally sent me a friend request, and I was like, all right, sweet, he's cute. I sent a screenshot of him to one of my girlfriends, and I was like, hey, I'm talking to this guy. You know, he seems pretty cute. Seems like he might be worth actually going on a date with. She was like, oh, I know him. She was like, he's really too nice for you. You won't like him. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to go on a date with him anyways, probably, because I need a nice guy at this point in my life. And that sounds promising to me, not discouraging. So then we keep talking. The next day, he goes to this Magic the Gathering thing with his friends. And he's leaving that and then just goes radio silent for 6 hours. I'm not freaking out. I'm just like, whatever. So like from 6 p.m. till after midnight, no communication. And I was like, I'm going to bed. I don't even care. So the next day I had woken up where he had messaged me before he went to bed, and he was like, sorry, I had some friend drama. And I was like, okay, whatever, you know, I'm not gonna inquire. So Sunday, it's Super Bowl Sunday, we go back to talking like usual, and he asked me where I like to go to eat. And I was like, well, Chipotle, Wolfie's, you know, that's like the local usuals that I go to. So he was like, well, I'll be by Wolfie's later for the Super Bowl party that I'm going to. Do you want to get dinner? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. I will be free then. And then we finally meet at Wolfie's, and I told my friend that I was meeting him there, and it gets a little dramatic because then we go and sit down, and I was like, hey, you know, one of my close friends knows you, and like, I don't know if that's weird or not, but like, she said that you were really nice. And he was like, oh, who is it? So I told him who it was, and he was like, so when I went radio silent yesterday for 6 hours, the friend drama was because of her. She told his ex-girlfriend that he and I were talking, sent screenshots to his ex-girlfriend of him liking my pictures on Facebook. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that happened. I didn't know who your ex-girlfriend was, like that they were best friends. I didn't know this because like I was close friends with her, but we hadn't hung out in person in over 10 years, and we just talked all the time. That's it. Like kind of like therapy friends, sort of. So yeah, I felt really bad about that, and follow for part 2.
Things things I wish I knew in college. If your boyfriend tells you you only got your job offer because you're a woman, you should dump his ass. Hope that was helpful.
Dating fail episode 3 part 3. So my girlfriend messaged me while I was at Wolfie's, and she was like, how's the date? But I didn't look at it till after I like got home, and I never responded to her about it that night. So the next day she was like, so anything about the date? And I was like, well, I told him I knew you. And then she was like, oh, well, I guess it didn't go very well then. And I was like, well, you know, for his privacy, I'm not going to discuss it anymore with you. And then she was like, okay. And within like 2 hours, she was sending me messages defending herself because apparently her best friend, his ex, was very upset with her, like not talking to her at all. Now I'm not talking to her. Now he's not talking to her because I guess they were closer friends than I even initially realized. Like, I just thought they knew each other and as in acquaintances. I think they were friends. I don't know. So no one's talking to her at this point. We're all pissed. And she starts messaging me trying to defend her actions, saying, oh, well, I thought his ex would be happy that he's moving on. No, you thought that you were going to start some drama and make sure that I'm single for forever, apparently, and probably try to get them back together. Who knows? Who knows what she was thinking? But, I mean, I'm glad it didn't work out because that's drama. Way too much drama for me. And he and I were still chatting a lot as friends. So, you know, Monday went fine. Tuesday, he messaged me that morning and was like, would you consider what we went on a date or just like a hanging out, get to know you kind of a thing? And I'm like, why does it matter? First of all, because we're not talking anymore. And second of all, if that's not a date, I don't think I've been on a date my entire life then. I'm like, you asked where I like to go. Then you asked me to meet you where I like to go. You invited me. You paid for the food. You kissed me. I think that's highly considered a date. Then he was like, oh, you're right. I'm such an asshole. I'm like, you said it, not me. And then he unfriended me on Facebook and stopped talking to me. And I was just like, okay. Thank you for exiting. Seeing your way out. And she promptly did as well. Yeah, so my friend that I've been talking to for quite the while, years and years, basically, yeah, no longer talking. She unfriended me on Facebook, unfollowed me on TikTok. She might see this. We'll see. I'll probably hear about it.
Hello. Oh, I mean, your mom died. Yeah, sorry. Also, I have a knife. Also, we have matching knives. Do you remember that knife you have in your bag?
Okay, so y'all wanted a story time on the whole situation of like what happened, what went on. So I'm going to give you that, and I already made a video, but unfortunately it would not post, so I'm remaking it, and yeah. So first things, whoops. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna start off with is me and his relationship. We were pretty healthy until like March, I think. It was when he was like, oh, like I need to focus on myself. I want to focus on my sport and all of that. And, you know, it's pretty normal for me to act the way I did. I was kind of begging. I was like, I don't really want to do that. Like, I think we could work this through. We could communicate, and like, I'll do things better so that I'm not feeling like a distraction to you or something like that. And he was like, no, like, I just need time. And I was like, okay. So I kind of started understanding him. I was like, okay, I'll give you time. There's times that I would text him, but then I started kind of realizing that I need to stop texting as much, and I did that. So, and then like a little bit later, like a day later, I don't know, he texted me and he was like, hey, like I want to get back together. And I was like, okay, great.
he met me in person, we talked about it, talked it out and stuff like that, and it was good. I also want to put out there that during this little break, and it wasn't long at all, he followed girls as well that he was involved with already. And if I did that, it would have been a problem. I just don't understand that part. There's still a huge boundary when you're on this break because you're not actually broken up, and it should be respected. Your partner should still be respected no matter the condition. And I deserve that respect, and he deserved the same respect, and I didn't follow anybody that I was involved with. I didn't do anything like that. I stayed to myself. I also just want to put out there that I wasn't necessarily, I guess, getting hints when he first started following girls when we first were on a break for literally a couple days. The next problem was maybe like a couple months later, communication was lacking. He wasn't really like there. I could kind of tell, but I just was trying to be oblivious to it because, you know, I loved him. I wanted him to like want me. I wanted it to work out. I wanted to understand him and give him a chance to be the boyfriend he needed to be, but he couldn't. And around the timing of, I don't know, like March? No, I already said that. Okay, my mistake. It was before my birthday, so around July or somewhere in June. It was right there. He was like, oh, like, I want to go on break again. Like, I need to focus on myself. Like, this relationship's kind of a distraction, and I just need to focus on soccer and stuff like that. And I was like, okay. And, you know, I begged him because I was like, I just want to understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, there's not a problem in our relationship. It's the fact that you lack communication that's causing us issues. And a relationship's not a distraction from this sport. Like, what is your excuse? When we went on break this time, he followed girls again and followed like his ex that he was romantically involved with and other girls that he was romantically involved with. And honestly, it made me sick to my stomach. I puked. I was so hurt because I was like, why are you running to all of these females while we're on break? Like, we're not fully broken up. We're not broken up. You're just taking a break. And the break was like not even a week, literally not even a week. Also, to put out there, one of the girls that he followed during this break was Lucy, and I don't know how far back it's been going, but I'll add that on in a minute. We did end up back together after that, and we spent our time together and stuff like that before I left to college. Mind you, my college is only 3 hours away. He then decided that he was going to break up with me, and he was like, oh, like, it's the distance. I just can't do it. And unfortunately, I did make a mistake. Both of us have made mistakes in this relationship. I'd say it's an even amount. I made the mistake after we had kind of ended things where I just kind of kept begging for closure. Like, I wanted closure, and that was bad on my part, but at the same time, my life kind of revolved around him, and that was my mistake. I shouldn't have revolved my life around a guy that I'm dating. It's not right. And I did keep texting him, and I kept trying, and then I started to figure out that he cheated on me. Also, let's rewind back just a little bit. He did text this girl on our break that he was romantically involved with, mentioning, oh, like, advice, like he wants advice, he needs help on how to fix his relationship and stuff like that, which, no, that's not okay. That crosses a huge boundary, and it honestly hurt me so bad, and you don't even understand that. If I did that, it would have been so wrong. Like, literally so wrong. Like, actually. Also, I do want to point out, I didn't find that out until the end of our relationship, or I wouldn't have gotten back with him. And yeah, because I would never go that low. I would have never texted a guy for advice about our relationship while we were together. Also, we were only on break for literally like 4 days. Now we're back to like Lucy. So actually I think it was before we broke up, she was already viewing my story, and then a little after she was still viewing it, and I was like, oh, like, this is really weird. It makes me uncomfortable because who are you? Why are you viewing my stuff? And I had remembered her name from when we went on break, and he followed her, which made me uncomfortable. I also just want to go to the point that I started to receive texts that were like, oh, like, he's cheating on you and stuff like this. And it was all on Instagram, by the way. It was like random accounts, and they were just like, he's cheating on you, he's been meeting me at this field, and this field is actually where he is always going. And it's not the one in Tampa, it's the one in Lakeland. So I was like, oh, okay, like, that's weird. I'm also gonna add on that I started reading these texts and it's just telling me, oh, like, you got cheated on, oh, like, you're so easy to get replaced, like, you got replaced. And honestly, none of that's cute. I don't know what you were doing or who raised you, but don't text me doing that. That's actually disgusting. Like, actually. Okay, I'm gonna continue. I also started receiving texts that he'd been cheating on me with Lucy, and I do have screenshots of that. They are from random accounts, so I have no idea who's doing it, but I think it's probably people from her school or people who know her. I don't exactly know. Also, I just want to put out, if you're texting me on Instagram on random accounts trying to bash me, it's not working. It's literally not working. I'm allowed to sit here and post what I like. It's my account. If you don't like it, you can get off. I also am allowed to rant about something that I feel like ranting about. It's my life, not yours, so I'd kind of stop. Now to the part of where I got leaked. I started getting texts in November and December, and it was just random people telling me, oh, you got leaked, oh, like, this happened, this, like, all of these things, and I was like, can you send me proof? Some of them did send me proof of the things that were posted, and it's things that I sent him. And then he texted me, and he was like, did you get leaked? Like, yeah, I did. And then he immediately was like, it wasn't me. But you were the only one who had these pictures, and I've not sent to anyone else. That's so weird and so immature, and genuinely, it had to be you, and it's so childish of you to even do that. Like, I don't know. Due to the leaking thing, I started to get harassed and called a whore and honestly bullied practically. And I had to change my phone number because a lot of people kept texting me. I stopped using Snap as much as I did because people kept adding me because of it, and I was just like overwhelmed, and honestly it hit me mentally and emotionally really bad. I genuinely think that I went to a sad stage where I just didn't want to come out of my room, which honestly I didn't. I barely came out. I was so upset and embarrassed of myself, and I didn't know what to do about it. I literally didn't. Now onto the video that I posted. I posted the video to show that I know that she's stalking me, and it makes me uncomfortable because I've mentioned to Cohen before that I don't want her to stalk me anymore, and obviously that didn't get through her brain, and I have screenshots, so please don't even deny it. The whole point of the video was to get her to stop doing it, and instead she commented and goes, should have tagged me, and that's when the whole truth came out, and that is why people are attacking you. You shouldn't have commented on my video, and you should have deleted your comment. If you really don't want people doing that, you should have deleted it so that it stopped happening, because I'm not deleting my video. I'm really not deleting my video. Also, I do have a screenshot of one of the texts of where someone did text me about Lucy and Cohen, and I'll put it up on here so that you can see it. Also, for the end of this video, I'm just going to put out there that the people who are making accounts and text me on Instagram, it's honestly embarrassing. You don't know the full story, you know nothing, and honestly, if you want to support Homewrecker, please do. If you want to shame me for posting this and calling me a whore and stuff, that's totally fine too. I mean, truth be told, I'm not a whore, and I'm okay. I'm good.